Hey everybody, welcome back. It is day 6 and we're going to be talking about how to join the reforestation movement. This might be a new concept for many of you. It was for me before I really started diving into what it means to be carbon neutral and how to really attack the climate crisis that we're now faced with. But what we discovered and what we want to share with you is that planting trees is actually the key to saving planet Earth. It really is that simple.
And when we talk about reforestation, we're not just talking about going to the corner and planting a tree. That's a good thing to do in your community. But reforestation has a deeper meaning when it comes to the global carbon offsets programs that have the most benefit to the earth when it comes to carbon storage.
You probably are already aware how much life trees actually provide for us here on Earth. Trees sustain our lives by protecting and nourishing us and our habitats and all the species here.
I think the other thing to know is that reforestation is one key component to helping with this carbon reduction by 2050. It's not going to solve the whole problem, but it's the one that we're focusing on to help build up. There's large organizations out there who are handling the hard work, which is finding the right places to plant trees, maintaining those forests, and mitigating any damage that can happen to them so that we can continue to store that carbon for as long as possible. And so, again, we're looking at 2050. It's 2021. So we're talking about 20 years of planting trees. Each tree has the capacity of around 40 pounds of carbon to store. And so we have a lot of trees to plant.
So one really cool thing about planting trees and reforestation is that the UN is totally behind it. The UN faction that is dedicated to bringing climate change awareness to all of us and fighting the climate crisis completely supports really major and cool reforestation projects all around the globe. And everybody's heard this a million times, but it really makes an impact. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time to plant a tree is today. So let's get out and plant some trees. It actually is such a simple action. It's a doable action. It's accessible to so many of us to be able to do that, and it's an easy step towards the solution of fighting climate change. We need trees. It's all about the trees. We're excited about this part of the conversation too because we love trees.
What I did today was ask a few artists some harder questions that are almost impossible to answer. Get them to think about the vastness as well as how quick it's going away. And so really we asked 2 questions. So how many trees really are there in the world? And then also how many trees are we cutting down an hour?
Yikes.
And we'll find those answers out. Check them out. The Learning Lab is What's Reforestation. This is from our partner, One Tree Planted. They have great videos. We definitely encourage you to check them out on YouTube. So let's go look at the videos today. These, again, are all about reforestation in one way or the other. So what on earth is reforestation? So this is another kind of breakdown animation that I thought was important for everybody to see. It's from Conservation International.
The reforestation and the impact it has on climate change, it's a really important question in the whole climate change and climate crisis conversation. There's a profound amount of research and practice about and around reforestation that shows that it does make a tremendous impact.
And what the global measurement to restore nature's biodiversity dives into is the ability to use data and AI and satellites and weather patterns to really understand more about where should we put reforestation. So let's go on to the podcasts. From trees to shining trees. This is Radiolab. Radiolab is one of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really cool. I learned so much.
So much. Reforestation and carbon capturing, that kind of goes more into the science of it.
Yeah, and it's not hard to follow. It actually makes the case it's pretty easy to understand.
Books.
My favorite. Okay, so here's the deal. Everybody, you have to read the overstory. And if you don't read the overstory, I'm not talking to you ever again. It's a kid's book, but I like kids lit, and I think all of us should look at kids lit even if we don't have kids, because the design is often awesome and the messages and the storytelling is just really simple and lovely. And so there's a fun one to check out. We Planted a Tree. And then the third choice for this week is The Man Who Planted Trees. And this is I didn't know about this before I started doing research, but it's a story about the science of trees and how one guy really wanted to save the planet. Yeah, and so then the links this week too, kind of the forests as carbon sinks. More about the science of forests and the background about forests that we need to know to understand what is actually going on and why trees are so important to our very, very lives. One of my other favorite resources is Scientific American, and this is a great article about combating climate change and how the key to that is the forests. And then the third link is actually this fabulous article. It's The Social Life of Forests.
Okay, don't forget, we're getting close to the last day. Second to the last day, ask us some questions. Make sure you're joining us on social media. Again, tell your friends, families, and far off places to join the conversation. And let's get on it. Thank you.